Hi guys, and welcome to Unity tutorial of first person shooter. So let me show you guys how this works. Now that is my neighborhood. It's kind of like an highway though, and here we have sort of like a windmill. So let's go over there and see. Right there we have a windmill. It's like there's some overgrown trees there, but the problem is we have some alien corona box on board. Yeah, we do have some corona box lying around, so it's our own duty to take care of those corona box. So let's look for them. Now let's go. Yeah, and there we go. So let's move on. Search the neighborhood. The whole idea is just for us to clear the whole neighborhood. And finally guys, I think we're very close to the aliens. There we go. Let's take them down, the corona boxes. Yeah, that one seems to be running away from me. Yeah, there's one on the... Oh, there's one on the street here. Let's see. Gotcha. There we go, guys. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take you guys straight into the Unity development environment, and we put one of these together. So let's do that now, guys. Okay, let's start Unity by clicking on the new project and make sure 3D is selected. I'm going to give this a name. I just call it FPS Fighter. There. Right, there we go. My development environment is ready. I'm going to come straight to the hierarchy, click on create, and let's select plane. There we go. I might as well just change this to top and come right down. You see this is very plain. I'm going to make this side 200 by 200, 200 by 200. If you notice, the y-axis remains as 1 because y-axis is a volume. So let's move out a little bit. There we go. The next thing I want to do is to come straight here where the project is, click on create. I'm going to select folder. In that folder I'm just going to type in material there, and right inside the folder called material, click on create again. Let's create a material. This material I'm going to call the color blue there, and make sure blue is selected. Select the albedo right here, and let's change the color to something navy blue, very dark blue there. That's fine. Drag that very blue and drop it on board. I think it's now blue enough for me. I'm going to make it dark a little bit more. Yeah, something like that. Right, the next thing I want to do now is I'm going to add cubes. I have a cube in there, this very cube. I'm going to make this first size of it 100, and in here I'm just the y-axis, I'm going to make it 0.05. let's see how that's going to look like, and make the y-axis 2000. That's very good. Now right click, copy, or create a duplicate, I mean, and that is my duplicate. Drag it side here and change the x-axis of this duplicate to 50. There we go. Copy this duplicate across. One more here, I think. Yeah, and one more. Let's drag that here. Yeah, that will do. Right click on the whole duplicate again and just drag it to the other side. Now select one of these cubes, create a duplicate of it and rotate it 90 degrees. Then let's change the size of that, the Z axis, to 900. So let's just drag it across. Yeah, that's fine. Right, that's not too bad. So that means we need to move this a little bit more. Okay, we can always copy now. Yeah, let it link. Yep, let's move this. Okay, that's fine. So we can just copy this, make copies of this very one. Right, we need one. Let's move it there, and another one here. Duplicate, drag it there. Now copy the tree, Control D there if you want, and just drag it across, and there we go. So our foundation is ready. So what's going on here is these are the roads. Okay, this is the main road. So for the main road, I'm going to right click, I'm going to click on create, and let's create another material. I'll call that black, and let's change the albedo color to black. There we go. Drag that black. Okay, just drag it and drop it there. I will also change the color of these ones, but before I do that, I'm going to have to import some other assets. But then you see all of these, it's kind of like messy, so I'm going to come in here. Let's create an empty game object. So I'm just going to call these road objects there, and drag every single one of these cubes straight into my road object. Collapse that. Now the next thing I want to do is I'm going to have to go straight to my assets table. Let's select Control 9, or you can just come into Windows and select your asset store. So right here on the asset store, I'm going to look for as follows. I will be looking for standard assets. Okay, and we download that straight on board. There we go. Make sure you select that and download it. There we speed things up, right? Okay guys, I have actually imported the following. The first one here is 48 particle effect pack, all sky free. This breaker actually found those on my system. I think I must have got them from the ones I made up. The building apartment is also from the asset store. Hand painted stone, hand painted forest, low poly mini village, and here is my material. Now I have my standard asset, the street probes. Inside the street probes I have my street light and so on that I'm going to be using. Then I also have Western probe pack. Now there's no need for me just to reinvent the wheel. That's why I had to go to the Unity asset store for all of these, and here seems to have 2 of these, so I'm going to have to delete 1. There we go. Okay, so I'm now going to go back to the scene. Right there on the scene, let's enlarge my development environment a little bit. The first thing I want to do now is get some buildings in there. I don't want to use these buildings here because they're a little bit modern and I've even used it before. Let's see these village buildings. Let's see. So right there, that's one of the village buildings, so I'm going to be using that. I think there's about 3 different types. Here we even have trees and rocks and so on. Those trees looks funny. I don't think I like them. Let's see what else can we make use of. Okay, we can make use of that. Oh, that's a village toilet. Okay, that's fine. So let's come down here. Now the first one, I'm going to grab that, just drag it on board there, and I'm going to change the size of that to approximately, maybe we should try out 24 by 24 by 24 and see how that looks. Okay, that's not too bad. Yeah, let's move it somewhere here. Maybe we can drag a well to the side here. Right, that's fine. And just increase the size of that well maybe to about 16, 16 and 16. Okay, they might need a WC there. Maybe that should be at the back. Yeah, hide that. Okay, we make that about 15, 15, 15. Or maybe 20, 20, 20. Okay, 20 by 20 by 20. Right, so that's how the building is looking. Now that's for the first building. So let's come in here, grab another building, paste that in there. Let's change the size of these to 20, 20, 20. Okay, so that very building, let's just copy it across. Control D, make a duplicate, drag it to this other side, and in between we can have something in between for them. Yeah. Okay, let's come down and do the same thing for the other one. Okay, we can just copy this across anyway. Control D, let's try that again. Now Control D for both, and just drag it across. Yeah. Alright, that's good. So the very first building, I'm gonna now copy that. Copy, Control D, and just bring it on. And that's all there is to that. So I will now select everything here, all the buildings. Select it all. I think there's another one here. And just create, yeah, right click, duplicate, and just drag it across there. Then I'm going to repeat the same thing for the others and just speed it up. Okay guys, all the buildings are in place now. There they are. Right, so what is left for us to do is just to put some white markings on this road. So I'm going to select this one, and let's just right click and create a duplicate. I'm going to change the size to about, let's go for maybe 8, and I'm going to make this about maybe 100. There, let's drag it across, and let's see how that looks like. Okay, it's not that visible. Okay, let's make it 0.5. There we go. That's number 13. So right click on number 13 and let's create duplicate and just copy it across. So move that. Okay, so I'm gonna have to speed that up, and I'll get back to you guys shortly after I've completed the road markings. There we go guys, this is how it's looking now. The road markings are completed, so but you won't be able to see it. I'm gonna have to add first person to that. So let's come in here and just maybe increase that. I'm gonna just press shift and bring it there. That is it. Okay, that's how the road markings is looking now. There we go. Right, so that's the whole neighborhood. That's how it all looks. So what I'm going to do now is I'm now going to change the look of the side roads. so let's make that a little bit homely and friendly. So let's end that. Shift escape as well. I'm going to go to my, let's come right down here and select the folder called material. In the material I'm going to create another material, and I'll just call that bricks. There we go. For the bricks, I'm going to now select some bricks that I have in here. So let's grab something that will give it a bit of good look. I don't like that, so let's come in here, select this other one. Okay, that's fine. So grab one of those bricks and just drop it here and see how that's gonna look like. Grab the material, drop it there. No, I want it on here. There we go. Alright, that's not too bad, but I'm going to have to change. Let's select the bricks material. I'm going to have to change this to, let's say the x-axis, y-axis is 8. Yeah, that's a little bit much better. So I'm going to select the rest of the road and just speed things up. Drag the brick, drop it there. I'll repeat the same thing for the rest of the neighborhood roads. Okay guys, it's all done now, and this house is looking right now. So all I'm just gonna do now is let me add some trees and so on. But first thing first, I'm going to come up here, you see windows, and I'm going to select I think it's going to be in rendering. Okay, then let's select a lightning system. I want to change the SkyBox, so click on that and let's look for a sky there. I'm going to go for this all sky night. Right, all sky night moon. Okay, let's click on that, and there we go. Look at that. And one other thing is, you see, for the plane, let me come back here and just press shift and space, the shift and the space bar that I press to get that. I'm going to select the plane itself, and what I want to do is, okay, it's the blue. Let's come on here. You see, come straight to the albedo. That's the property that I use for the background. On the albedo, I'm going to select this small icon, and I want something, just something to make it look a little bit jagged but still retain the blue color. I think I'm going to settle for this cliff normal. Right, there we go. And if you guys have a good look at it, look at how it looks now. Okay, yeah, I think that's all right. Okay, the next thing I am going to embank on now will be, maybe we should add some trees. And you see here we have some space in there. Maybe here I'm going to add, let's just press Ctrl or just create a duplicate, and here what I'm going to do is drag that. Let's drag what I've just done now. I think it's right here. Yeah. Let's drag that, yeah, to the other side. Okay, I'm going to make the size of that about 40. And now we then convert that to kind of like a pavement on the side of the road itself. I think that might be too much. Let's make it 30. Right. Now I'm going to have to create another material. Let's come in here, material there, and that material I'm going to call it stone. So I need the content inside this painted stone texture. Right, I think it's right there. So let's come in here and I think it's texture I'm gonna go for. There we go. Drag it, drop it there. Right, and then drag this material straight onto that particular, where is it now? Okay, there we go. So drag it, where is it? Right here, drag and drop it right here. Now I want it here, not there. Okay, that's 22. Let's put it on 22 here then. Drag and drop it right inside 22. That's it right there. But the other thing is I need to now change. Let's change the tiling. So I want to make the tiling, let's go for about 16 and see how it's gonna look like. 1 by 16, or let's say 2 by 16. No, I want to leave it as 1 by 16. So I will now copy this across. So make sure it's selected, and I'll just come in here, right click, create a duplicate, right, and drag that here, there. Okay, they are right by the side of the road itself. Okay, we can now add some trees and street light. I have some prefab or assets here, street pros. So let's come in here and get some street light. That's the street light there. Let's see if there's any other one. Okay, I may have to settle for this. I'm just gonna drag it, drop it here somewhere. Let's do that again. Yeah, there we go. And let's change the size to maybe 20 by 20 by 20. There. We have our street lights right there. So let's just copy that across. Come right here. Where's the day? There we go. Right click, duplicate, drag, maybe there. Repeat the same thing again. Right click, duplicate, or you can always press Ctrl D. And another one. And I'm just gonna speed that up. Okay, and I have all the street light in place. So I'm gonna do one thing quick. Maybe I should just add the boxes that I intend to use. So those boxes would be the, I kind of like nickname them as Corona box. Okay, those are the boxes I'll be shooting anyway. But one thing, I also need a bullet. No, I don't need a bullet. I need a gun. Right. Well, first thing first, let's come in here. See, I have a package here called Western Prop Pack. Okay, that's where I got all of this from. You can always locate that on the internet, and I will also include the link to this very Western Prop Pack for you guys to have a look at if you want. Okay, so we'll click on Western Prop Pack, and we need the models. Let's come in here. Then I need this wooden crate. Okay, let's come. Those are the texture. Let's just come to model here. There we go. Drag that and just drop it there. So I'm going to increase the size of that to about maybe 2, 0.2, 0.2, 0.2 all the way there. So what I would then do is I'm going to add rigid body to that. There we go, add a rigid body, and what else? And I will also add box collider. Right there. So I have a rigid body and box collider. So that is that very box ready. So I will now right click on it and just create a duplicate and just copy it across. It's like there's virus in it, so we need to get rid of it. Right click again. Okay, I have two, which can just take care of one first, then from there we can copy it across. I'm going to delete that. Now I have this here, so that's fine. This can be copied across. The next one is if you notice, this one is just wooden crate. The next one, I'm going to select this and just drop it there. That is the wooden crate, the cracked one. So first thing, let's increase the size of it to, so that we can see 20 by 20 by 20. Right. Okay, and now we also come right inside the Western probe and select the texture. Let's let it look like a proper wooden crate. Let's see, can we do that here? No, we can't, but I think we can do that for this one. Or we may have to. Let's see, where is it? Yeah, that's fine for this. This one we have to do it inside the wooden crate itself because it's broken into pieces. Alright, so we have to do that individually, but first thing first, let's select it all, select the shattered pieces and add rigid body. There we go. I'm also going to add mesh collider because it is broken into pieces. Since mesh collider is added, you see this convex, we have to select that. Make sure it's selected. Okay, let's see if we add this. Can we add this to it? No, we just have to add it individually. Okay, so I'm going to do that individually. Okay, so kind of like give it the look of a box. So let me show it to you guys properly. Look at that. It has the look of a proper box now compared to how it was before. If you wondered how it was before, I can just show you one of the boxes and you guys will see how that looks like. Let's drag this down. If I drag this there and just change the size to 20 by 20 by 20, this was how it looks before I apply the texture. So I'm going to get rid of it anyway. I don't need that. Delete. There. Alright, you see this very one? I will now convert it to a prefab so that I can reuse it. Okay, that's the whole idea of a prefab. So first thing, collapse that. I will now drag this and drop it inside my asset. Drop it there, and I'm going to select original prefab. There we go. We can now select this. I will just come in here, select and delete it. We already have it on the system as a prefab that we can use over and over again. It's there, right there somewhere. Okay, we get rid of this. Yeah, that is it right there. Okay, now let's add some trees before we start work with any of the codings. I'm going to drag this up a little bit, and in here, standard asset, inside my standard asset, I do have some trees in there, but I'll come in here, just change it to 2 columns so that I can see the trees. So let's select standard asset and select models. Come right down and let's look for trees. There we go. Drag, drop. Okay, so that looks like little grass, so we can just hold on to the control and copy again, but I need proper trees. Let's put some here. Let's increase that to about 12. That seems to be too much. 9 by 9 by 9. Okay, it's like it's in the house. Okay, 777. Right. Okay, so I can now just speed that up and just use this very tree, create duplicates, and I'll get back to you guys. Okay, I've added all the trees in place. This is how it all looks like now. Kind of like give it a bit of life, I think. Yeah, I like it. Okay, that's fine. Maybe we can even add 1 or 2 cars, or maybe a lorry on the side. So let's look for that, if we can get hold of one of those. Let's press shift and space bar. Click on that and repeat that. There we go. So let's come down here and just look for something to do with it. Yeah, there's one here. I can see one. There we go. Click, drag, drop it somewhere here. And let's increase that to maybe 10 by 10 by 10. Okay, that's not too bad. And rotate it, let's say 90 degrees. Yeah. Control D, copy across. Maybe add one here. Copy that, repeat it. I'll just undo that and repeat it again. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Okay, one other thing I'll do before I move any further is I'm going to add first person here. Let's come straight to our standard assets. Come right down here. Okay, go to character. Inside the character, let's select first person character, then go to the prefab, and I'm just going to drag this, the first person controller. Let's drop it somewhere here, or maybe, yeah, somewhere here. Right, let's try it and see how that's going to look like. We have our first person controller there. Look at the guys rolling along the street. Yeah, that's not bad. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to press escape, and let's save this program or this game. Let's go to save as, and I'm going to save that straight into the asset. Make sure it's saved right inside the asset, and in there I'm just going to call it maybe mini FPS, and save that. There, that's saved. Okay, so what we now do is start work on some codes. But before I continue with this coding part of it, I'm going to add a gun, because I'm going to need a gun. So let's come in here. You can get that in your asset store, Unity asset store. I'm just going to add that. My gun is in place. Now let's come in here, select this gun. Let's go to the material. Okay, we need a model of that very gun. Right, that's the gun right there. Now come down here, grab this gun and just drop it here somewhere. Yeah, maybe there. Okay, now let's find a way to position that very gun. Let's grab it, and you have to move it straight inside my first person here. Then let's try and position it properly. Okay, and the size of that gun, but let's just see. Let's find a way to position it properly first. Grab the main camera so that I can see what I'm doing. That is the gun. So I'm going to change this to maybe about, let's go for 0.12, and maybe this we can just say 1.1. I'm just going to make this about, let's say, minus something. Minus, yeah, I'm beginning to see my gun. Look at it. Minus 1.67, and this one maybe we should change it a little bit more. Yeah, let's come in here. This gun seems to be a little bit too big. I'm gonna make it 0.04, 0.04, 0.04. Yeah, let's try that. There we go. Now I have my gun. Let's move it a little bit to the right. Yeah, tiny bit to the left. Okay, that looks like it's all right. Okay, so let's see. Let's run it and see how that's gonna look like. Yeah, that's not too bad. Yeah, where are the bad guys? Right, that's good. I think I like it. I'm going to add let's add a crosshair to it. So I'm going to come up here and let's go to UI. Inside UI I'm going to select image right there. The image is giving me 100, so let's change that to 10 by 10 there. Okay, I'm going to get it centered 0, 0, and 0. And let's see, that is it right there. This square, the white square there. Okay, let's come in here and select material. I prefer the ring one. Let's come in here and look for the ring. That's for flash. Yeah, I don't mind that flash. It looks a bit alright. Maybe let's set for this one. Flash 3. That's the flash 3 there. You can see it there. Maybe we should increase it to about 20 then. It looks a little bit too small. Alright, that is it. Width and height is 20. So let's run it and see how that's gonna look like. There we go. So move my gun around. You see that, guys? Yeah, that's fine. You see the invisible space in between this crosshair and this, that is the gun is the Raycast. So I'm gonna end it for now. Just come in here and have a good look at it. Alright, so that is fine for now. And this gun as well, let's add a rigid body to the gun. Let's see if there's a gun. If there's a rigid body in it. There's no rigid body, so we just added a rigid body in it. Type in R. Okay, then that is fine. Okay, guys, so let's continue. But what the console here is telling me there are 2 audio listeners in the same. Please ensure there's always exactly 1 audio listener. So in here I know quite well there's one in first person shooter. There's an audio listener there, and in here let's see the main camera. I also have one in the main camera. You see the one on the first person shooter? I'm gonna get rid of that. So let's come right in here, drop it down, and just click on remove components there. So that should take care of that. So let me try it out and see. Okay, that's fine. The audio listener warning is gone. So I'm going to now continue this. I'm going to come in here First thing first, let me create a folder for my script. So let's just, oh, that's the script anyway that I've selected. I'm just going to call it gun. Okay, that's the script. However, I'm going to need a folder for it. Let's come right down here, just create a folder for that script. There we go. I'm just going to enter a script in there. Okay, so drag my gun script straight into the folder called script. There, I can now open up that very folder. Select my script, the gun script, click and open. Alright, first of all, I'm going to declare a variable in here, and I'll call that a public variable. So right there, let's say public float. I will call that enemy destroyer, and I'm going to set the value of that to about 12 for, that will be my default enemy destroyer damage I'm going to be using for now. We also need to declare another public variable, and that is going to be something to do with the radius that we're going to cover. So let's just call that radius. So that'll be radius. So I'm going to make the radius approximately, because of the size of my plane, I'm going to make that, let's go for about 150. Okay, and let's enter a semicolon there. Okay, in order for me to be able to use my gun, I'm going to need some input from the player, and right here there's a default function there. So I think it's right here, project setting, and right here inputs. Then we drop the axis down, we have fire one. That is the function that I'm going to be using. So let's go back to my code, and right here what I'm going to enter is as follows. I'm going to use an if statement. If input dot get button down. Okay, and what function am I looking for? Is going to be fire one. Okay, that's one of the default function set by Unity for us to be able to shoot or use our guns. Okay, you see with the fire one itself, that is for the left hand button, and fire two, that's for the right hand button, depend on what trigger you would like to use. Okay, now let's continue anyway. Okay, right here I'm going to create a function underneath here before I continue. I'll call that void, and that is going to be known as gun shot. So inside this my gunshot, I will have a raycast, hit. Okay, and let's give it a name. So that will be, I think I'm going to call that target. Okay, and this very raycast hit, I should be able to call that inside my if statement here. Let's paste that in there, enter semicolon. Okay, to be able to shoot my gun, I actually need a raycast. So the raycast is the invisible line between the gun, and let me show it to you guys, between the gun and the, okay, let's run it and you see what I'm talking about. Between the gun and the crosshair, that's the raycast. Okay, just the invisible line. Okay, so I'm gonna go back here. That's it, that's the invisible line, that's my raycast. So I'm gonna end it. So what I'll then do is, to be able to shoot out that gun, I'm going to use the camera. So here I'll just enter another variable public, and that will be camera focus. Okay, let's just call it camera focus. I'm gonna copy that, paste that here. Yeah, that's my variable there, and this is very camera focus. So I'm gonna come right down here and enter physics. Dot Raycast, that is it. Open a bracket, and we then call our camera focus here. There we go. So this should be able to shoot it in the direction we're facing, but to do that I'm going to say dot transform dot position, comma, camera focus dot transform again, and that is going to be dot forward. So for me to be able to gather all the information required, I'm going to say, okay, let's gather some information, and whatever information we gathered here, we want to put that inside this target variable. So I'm going to enter a comma there and just say out there. Let's enter a semicolon here. To be able to make it, and just to be able to eat any object that is within these, I'm going to enter my radius here. But any object further than that, we won't be able to hit that. However, to be able to validate if we actually eat something, what I'm going to do is I might as well just use an if statement here, and here let's just enter curly braces there, and we then use the, okay, before we go any further, we have to find out a way to apply damage to the create object. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to create a new script. So in there, make sure it is selected, and this gun, actually, let's see, this one should be attached to the gun. Yeah, it is attached to the gun. So let's select create, and the wooden crate, let's create a new object here, a new script. So I'm just going to give that a name. I'm going to call it shot fired. Okay, there. Okay, I will now select a script, and that is, let's click on, where is it? That's going to be create. Okay, create shot fired is coming up, and there we go. Now, okay, I'm going to need some variable here, so but first of all, let's get rid of these. So in there, I'm going to say public. We can use live. Okay, let's say float live variable. So that's going to be, let's make that about, I can make that 50. Then the next thing is I'm going to now create my own public. Let's say public void, and let's just call that damage impact, and that damage impact is going to take in some argument. So I'm going to just enter float. So I'm going to call that the argument extent of damage, let's say of damage, and let's enter curly braces there. Now let's say life. Okay, we have to delete the extent of damage from life. So life equals minus, or minus equals extent of damage, and let's then use an if statement. If life less than and equals to 0, then we expect this object to become invalid. So invalid is not there, so I'm going to have to create another one, create a function known as invalid. So let's come right underneath here. Just want to copy that and come right down here and just say void invalid there. Okay, we need a column here. Right, so for the invalid, all we just need to say is destroy objects game, or game object. Destroy game object, and that's all there is to that. Okay, I might as well be able to call the other crate the chattered crate. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to create another public variable here, and let's just say public, and I'll call that game object. And this very game object, I'm going to give it a name. I'll call it enemy down. Yeah, that's good enough for me. So that's the game object I will insert my shattered box in there. So let's come right underneath here. So I'm going to now say void on mouse. Let's go for on mouse down. Yeah, on mouse down, I want the following to happen. Well, first of all, I'll call it in. I will first of all instantiate this. Instantiate enemy down to paste that comma, and I'm going to say transform dot position comma transform dot rotate there, and let's enter semicolon there. Then the next thing is, let's just say destroy object, destroy game object. There we go. I think that should do it. So let's save this. I will now call this inside the gun there, but first thing first, let's go back to my project here and just come right down here. I will select my crate and there. So let's scroll right down, and that is it, enemy down. So we will now add the wooden crate crabbed. Just drop that in there, drag it and drop it in there. So that is taken care of. Now let's take care of the other, as the gun script. Okay, let's open up the gun script. Okay, with my gun script opened, the first thing I like to do is I need to declare some more public variable here. So I'm going to just copy this, paste it right there. So it's going to be public. Let's just call that this figure, more or less like damage, this figure, and let's say that is going to be about 50. Okay, the damage will cause. And we also need another public variable. I'm going to call that damage force. Okay, that's the force of damage. Now let's make that about, so we go for maybe 50 as well. And finally I'm going to declare another one. Let's just call that public GameObject, and that GameObject I'm just going to call that particle effects. There. So that will be for my particle effect. Now let's come right inside this if statement, if you guys can still recall, right here. Okay, so inside this if statement, what we want the system to now do is, let's say this file called shot fired, and shot fire, let's create a variable called shooting, and this shooting equals the target. I'm actually referring to this target, and this very target dot transform dot position, paste that in there, dot transform dot gets, that will be dot gets components. And what component are we going to get? We're going to get this shot fired component. There we go, and we enter parentheses here. There. Now let's use an if statement to determine what's going on here now. So let's say if shot fired is not, so we say if shooting is very one, if shooting is not null value, enter curly bracket, then we're gonna say shooting dot damage impact, and that will be this figure. There we go. Okay, so let's enter semicolon, then get rid of this. It's causing problem for us. Yeah. Okay, then now the next thing we want to do now is, since we've check if it is the shooting or not the shooting, so we now want to check that of the target as well. So let's say if target, so I'm now addressing the target up here. If the target dot rigid body is not equals to null, then come right down here. Then we're going to say target dot rigid body. We need to add some force to that, so come in here, paste that there. Target dot rigid body dot add force, and that is going to be minus target dot normal, and let's multiply that by the damage force, and enter column in there. So right underneath here now, let's try to destroy. We need to be able to destroy the excess object that we're going to end up having. Okay, well, let's just get rid of this error first there, and I'm going to save it, and then we'll come back and take care of that. Let's run it and see how it's going to look like before I take care of these objects Right, where is it again? Come out. There we go. So I'm going to run it. I just want you to be able to chat out the, oh, I should have added some. Okay, let's just run it. That's my box there. If you guys can still record the box I added earlier on. So I'm going to shoot that box. I expect it to shatter into pieces. There we go, guys. Look at that. Yeah, that's supposed to be one of the Corona boxes destroyed. Okay, that's good. It's working as expected. But the other thing that is missing in there is if I come in here now and select my gun, I was meant to enter some effect into that. Okay, I have this, I have this, I have this. Okay, I expect this to do something which is not doing what I want it to do. And let's go in here. Where's the, okay, let's come in here and check that as well. Okay, that is fine. Okay, let's go back in here, and right underneath here I'm going to enter the following. So let's say GameObject. We would like that to clear. What did I call it? I think I call it clear object or so. Clear object. Right. Okay, clear object. That's what I'm going to call it. Equals. We'd like it to instantiate my particle effect, comma, target dot point, comma, and here I'm going to use a quaternium. So let's say quaternium. There we go. Dot look rotation, yeah, and I'm going to say comma target dot normal. Yeah, I think that should do it. Now the next thing is we just say destroy clear object. So hopefully we should be able to see this. I'll make that 2F. We should be able to see the particle now, hopefully. There we go. And I'm going to save that. So let's run it and see how that's going to look like. Okay, click on it again. There we go. So come right down here, and we need to, let's move towards our gun, towards the box, and move towards it. I expect the particle to explode with the shattered box. There we go, guys. Look at that. Yeah, that's not too bad. That's good. Okay, that's good. So what I'm going to do now is to just add sound, maybe add more boxes. Okay, let's come in here, close that. So when this box open up, where is the box? Right here. Okay, let's add sound to this. So I'm gonna come right down here. Let's select the wooden crate, and I think it should work this way. Let's say audio source. Yeah, there we go. Let's drop it down, and I'm going to look for sound. I think I have some sound on my system. Let's look for them on my own system here. Collapse all of this. I'm going to get those sound, just add it on board. Okay, let's add my sound. Let's come in here. I have one, and I'm going to get the large explosion as well with this very one, and drag that. Just hold on first. I want it in here inside my asset. Okay, drag and drop it in here. There we go. So we can close that now. I'm going to come back in here. Right in here I have my sound source, so we want it to be large explosion. There we go. Let's try that out. And then let's see. Right here, come in here. You hear that, guys? That's very good. So I'm going to add more. Boxes. So what about the trigger? Let's see if we can add one to this, the gun as well. Let's come in here and add another audio, and that one is going to be just for the trigger. Drag this and drop it right in here. So I expect that. Is he on awake? Get rid of that. Now let's see if it's going to work. Alright, come right down here and let's give that another shot and see. Move closer, and the gun seems to be too slow. The first person seems to be too slow. I'm going to have to increase the speed. Yeah, that's nice. I think I need to actually enable the on trigger awake. Make sure the gun is selected. I'm going to come back here and just play on awake. But let's see what's going to happen with the play on awake. Nope, I don't want that. So I want it to actually play when I shoot. So I'm going to get rid of the play on awake. Okay, come back in here and just get rid of that. That's fine. Okay, now the next thing we want to do is let's move into where we have all these boxes, the box itself, and I'm going to add a couple more. Where is the box? Right here. There we go. So I will now right click, create a duplicate, just move that to one side. Those are supposed to be the corona box at the neighborhood, so we just need to get rid of them to keep the neighborhood safe. So maybe one more, and there we go. Add another one here in the middle of the road. How dare you? So there. Yeah, just before we try it out now, let's increase the speed of the first person and we can then try it out. Select the first person controller and come right here. Instead of 5, I'm just going to make that 10, just to increase it a little bit and leave this as maybe 20. And there, I'm going to save that. So let's run our program now. And there we go, guys. So let's try that out. So let's move nearer to the box. As expected, the explosion and the box they get shattered. Right here. Nice, guys. All the coronavirus taken care of. So with that, guys, I'm going to call it the end of this beautiful tutorial. I suppose you guys enjoy it, and please do subscribe. You can also join to become a member of my channel. Bye for now.